Thank you everyone and welcome back. Please enjoy the fourth installment of my series. If anyone has a suggestion for a title to this series, I would love to hear your ideas. P.S. I really miss italics. The captain pulled up the one chair in the cell and took a seat. Across from him, their guest lounged on his padded bunk. It was meant to be uncomfortably small, but with him it seemed decadently large. His unusual coverings were folded up behind him as a pillow, and a blanket covered him from his waist to his toes. His chest and arms were exposed, showing off his substantial musculature. Less than a meter of space stood between them in the padded cell. "Nice place you got here," said the human. "I stayed on a terrestrial ship once and they've got nothing on you guys. Compared to our spacecraft, well, this ship is like a floating palace. How do you do it?" The captain certainly hadn't expected to be praised for the accommodations, but given its small stature and the confines of the craft they found him in, he should not have been surprised. "Well, we value our guests and strive to provide the best we can offer for them," he replied, trying his best to sound sincere. "Gods and lords, this thing was stupid. But the bunks for our crew are what you might typically find on any military or patrol spacecraft." This was a lie across the board. He had no idea what the inside of a military or a patrol craft looked like, and his quarters were 2 stories and about 100 square meters. "Wow! Thank you for the guest treatment then," the human said. "And I want to thank you for rescuing me out there. I thought that module would be my tomb. Buried alive in space." The captain could empathize. It was any spacer's worst nightmare. He suppressed a shudder. Really, selling this man into a life of servitude was doing him a favor. His potential buyer probably wouldn't put such a novelty to work at hard labor when he could be used as a conversation piece. He would probably spend his days entertaining and doing parlor tricks as a house slave. Not a bad way to live. Better than death by starvation in a metal pod. "Well, it was the least we could do here on the Bright Hope," he said. The ship's name was the Halcyon Harvester. "We were a few light years out, but when we picked up your warp field collapsing and saw you couldn't get it going again, well, we knew we had to help. You can actually detect the warp bubbles of other vessels? Real time from light years away?" the human asked, sitting up a little straighter in his bunk. Had he been taller, he would have hit his head. The captain was taken aback. He definitely hadn't expected the human to have cared about something like that. He hadn't even expected him to be capable of caring about something like that. "Well, yeah," Anticton replied, rubbing his chin. "How do you do it?" The smaller man asked, "Does the warp field project itself ahead of the bubble? Or maybe the compressed space causes ripples ahead of it, like a stone in water?" This creature was not stupid. Not by a long shot. That sort of technology is classified," Captain Anticton replied. In truth, he had no idea how the hell they did it. That was probably a question for the guys who build the sensor suite they bought. "Oh, right, like the Prime Directive," Steven said, perhaps seeing the confusion on the captain's face. He hastened to clarify. "Humans have speculated that there might be a rule that prevents more advanced sentients from providing technology to less advanced sentients for fear of disrupting the natural course of their development." No. That was about the stupidest thing he'd ever heard. "It's more of a security issue. We can't give away technology when we don't know how it might be used." That was a lie, of course, but much more believable than the idea that he or anyone else who wasn't an anthropologist gave a flying shit about the development of some primitives. Nothing aboard his ship couldn't be procured by anyone on the open market in a spacecraft or law enforcement supply store. He just didn't want to admit to this human that he had no idea how the sensors worked, and this excuse played well in keeping their guest behind a locked door. "May I ask some questions about you?" Anticton asked, "To get a better idea of your status?" Of course, came the quick reply. "Good. The captain made a show of pulling out a datapad and a stylus. "So, what is your profession?" "I'm an explorer," the human said with a nod, an almost universal indicator for yes. "You're not a soldier?" the captain asked. "You were wearing armor when we found you, and beneath that you wore coverings with insignia." "Oh, no," he replied. "I used to be an airman dash." The captain's translator supplied warrior whose domain is aerospace for the unusual human-speak word. That his people had a single simple word for that was disconcerting. Still, there were plenty of harmless races with deep martial traditions. "But I'm a civilian now." Civilian became one who is not serving in the military, as if that wasn't already an assumption in their language. Again, disconcerting but not terribly unusual. "What are you exploring?" the captain asked, idly typing nonsense into his datapad. "Oh, the galaxy," said Steven. "I'm conducting humanity's first manned extrasolar spaceflight and our first manned effective FTL test. It didn't go as planned. We kind of figured that out when we recovered you from the void," said the captain. "And those symbols on your skin covering? They remind me of some military identifications and rank I've seen a few races using." He pulled his covering from behind him, a bright orange one-piece with numerous pockets, zippers, fasteners, and insignia. "Not at all. None of these are even remotely related to the military," he said. Pointing to each in turn, he explained, "This one is the government-funded explorer organization I work for called NASA. This one is for the government that funds it, the United States of America. These are for the mission and the spacecraft that brought me here and malfunctioned, Project Pathfinder and the Victoria. This last patch with the wings means I'm a pilot, and it has my first name, Stephen, my family name, McLaren, my tribe name, Lieutenant Colonel, and my clan name, U.S. Air Force." "Okay," the captain replied. "I thought as much. So this thing really wasn't an engineered super soldier or any kind of soldier at all, for that matter. That still left other questions." "And my suit wasn't armor," Steven continued, folding his orange skin covering. "It's just for survival in case of a hull breach." "Were you genetically engineered?" asked the captain. "No, not at all. 100% natural." "Why?" "It's just one of those questions we have to ask. There can be concerns with unnatural biological contaminations," he said. Again, not true at all, but it sounded better than, "I need to know if I should put you in a stronger cage." The captain licked his teeth and snout. "Next question. Are you carnivorous?" For a moment, the man said nothing as it drew its eyebrows together. The expression for confusion, perhaps. "You mean like eating meat?" The single word meat had been translated as flesh of a prey animal. Now that was a red flag.